it's not just about the currency, but fundamentally it's about wiring an internet for money.
Have you expected the lawsuit between the SEC and Ripple to last this long? As many know, the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit has been one of the most consequential legal battles in the crypto industry. Because of this, all eyes are fixed on the outcome of this case, as it will set the precedent for cryptocurrency regulations in the United States. So, what can we actually expect from the conclusion of the case? In December 2020, the U.S. regulator filed a lawsuit against the blockchain payments firm, its chief executive officer, CEO Brad Garlinghouse, as well as the co-founder Chris Larsen, for the sales of unregistered securities. Precisely, the filing stated that Ripple had raised over $1.3 billion through an unregistered, ongoing securities offering for the XRP coin. On the other hand, Ripple has been arguing against the SEC stance, stating that XRP is not a security and should therefore not be regarded as such. The earlier classification of Bitcoin BTC and Ethereum ETH as non-securities by the market regulator was referenced as one of the reasons why XRP is not securities. In addition, the statement of Brian Brooks, who was at the time the acting director of the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency (OCC), was called to remembrance. Brooks suggested that the government can use platforms like Ripple to replace the SWIFT system. These petitions did not make any significant change to the lawsuit until Ripple began to talk about a speech by William Hinman, a one-time director of corporate finance at the SEC. Hinman clearly declared that BTC and ETH are not securities, and this became a point of controversy for the SEC and an assumed winning point for Ripple. Consequently, Ripple fought for a deposition of the former director while the SEC opposed it. Recently, District Judge Annalisa Torres of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York ruled that the SEC cannot hold back the Hinman document, as they are relevant to the judiciary process. Therefore, it is expected to be turned over to the public after Ripple Labs has drawn its defense with them. Despite the broad optimism of massive XRP price growth up to $20 by pundits, it's not certain how this revelation would influence the price of XRP in the long term. In the latter part of last year, there were speculations on Twitter that the case, which hangs on whether Ripple's XRP token is an unlicensed security, could have been settled that month after an Ask Me Anything with Cardano's Charles Hoskinson. He said that he had heard rumors that the XRP versus SEC could be finalized around mid-December. However, Hoskinson later clarified he was relaying rumors and not anything more concrete, meaning that this piece of XRP lawsuit news ended up being mere speculation. Well, they are obviously mere speculations, as even today we are still awaiting news of the verdict of the case. In January, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, through an interview, shared their optimism for a ruling in their favor. He told CNBC, "We're optimistic that this will certainly be resolved in 2023 and maybe in the first half. So we'll see how it plays out from here, but I feel very good about where we are relative to the law and the facts. We are now past the first half of the year, so that wasn't a good guess either." However, in the same interview, Garlinghouse shared that he expected the final ruling in the Ripple lawsuit to be handed out in the single-digit months. If that's the case, we have until September to expect a verdict. In light of this, Ripple's top executive has always been vocal about their willingness to settle the case. However, the SEC and its chairperson's view of crypto in general is a huge roadblock to that intent. In the latter part of February, Ripple's chief legal officer Stuart Alderoty shared his expectations that the company would ultimately be successful against the SEC's claim that its XRP cryptocurrency was a security. He tweeted, "The SEC has lost 4 of its last 5 cases in the Supreme Court thanks to the few that had the courage and resources to fight back against the SEC's bullying and clinging to stretch legal positions that were not faithful to the law." A few weeks back, the XRP cryptocurrency soared as investors grew hopeful that Ripple, a company closely associated with the token, would win its prolonged legal battle with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Traders pointed to a supplemental notice recently submitted by Ripple, which pointed to a ruling in a separate case concerning Binance.US's rescue plan for collapsed crypto lender Voyager Digital. Under the plan, Binance's U.S. unit was to buy all of Voyager's assets, including its native VGX token, in a $1.3 billion deal. The SEC rejected the plan, arguing VGX was similar to security and calling Binance an unregistered securities exchange, according to the notice from Ripple. However, the judge rejected the SEC's objections and approved the bankruptcy plan, citing what he called the vagueness of the regulator's arguments, and stating the SEC had not offered any guidance at all as to just what it was that the debtors allegedly were supposed to prove to demonstrate VGX was not a security, according to the Ripple letter. In a recent interview with CNBC, Ripple president Monica Long said that she was very hopeful about achieving a positive resolution to the SEC battle, adding she thinks it will be concluded sometime this year. Long said she thinks it's very unlikely the judge will rule in favor of the SEC, considering by our view both the facts and the law are on our side. If XRP were to be deemed a security, it could have huge ramifications for the digital currency industry. Floods of tokens may end up falling into the same category, making them regulated financial instruments that would need SEC supervision and frequent transparency disclosures. Ripple's Long said she believed the SEC was regulating through enforcement rather than establishing clear regulations for the sector. Europe is more advanced in its treatment of crypto, she argued, highlighting the bloc's marketing crypto assets regulation as an example. We're seeing action through enforcement versus setting clear rules and regulation, which is what all of us in the industry desire, Long said. Europe is really emerging as a leader in setting really clear regulations and rules that allow crypto companies and also traditional finance to embrace crypto. For its part, the SEC has said it wants all crypto companies and projects to bring their operations into compliance with federal securities laws. In an interview with CNBC in February, after a crackdown on the crypto exchange Kraken, SEC Chair Gary Gensler said, "There's a handful of tokens that have actually registered. The intermediaries, the storefronts if you wish, the casinos that people are investing in and investing at need to properly comply and disentangle these bundled products. If this field has any chance of survival and success, it's time-tested rules and laws to protect the investing public." In recent weeks, the regulator has taken aim at numerous crypto firms, alleging they are engaged in illegal securities offerings. In March, Ripple and the SEC both submitted their final round of briefs seeking a summary judgment in the case. As you all know, the case now rests with Judge Annalisa Torres of the Southern District of New York, who is expected to issue a verdict soon, although it is not clear when she will make her decision. However, some crypto investors believe an outcome will arrive in the coming days. XRP is being bolstered by a potential positive outcome in the SEC case. Vijay Iyer, vice president of international at crypto exchange Luno, told CNBC in an email. The token, which is the sixth largest globally by market value, is also being boosted by the broader crypto market sentiment, Iyer said. On a different note, after the New York Times posted an article stating Ripple has dropped down the rankings since the SEC labeled it a security, Ripple's chief legal officer Stuart Alderati corrected the publication. He said in a tweet, "To be clear, the SEC hasn't labeled XRP a security, nor does it have the power to do so." The long-running court case between Ripple Labs and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission could set a precedent for the whole cryptocurrency industry, so people in the crypto space are keeping their eyes and ears open for any and all developments on the case. As of now, many are convinced that the legal battle between the SEC and Ripple could come to an end after the lawsuit entered its third calendar year. In light of this, not only XRP community members but also the crypto community in general are almost anxiously awaiting the verdict from Judge Annalisa Torres of the United States Southern District Court of New York. Make sure to subscribe to be updated.